Very much for having. As you know, in the last 4 or 5 years, we've had a huge crackdown on people who want to express freedom of religion in northern Nigeria, or even on free speech generally. We saw what happened to the humanist Mubarak Bala, who was arrested and detained for 3 years without any trial. And he caved in eventually. His wife had just given birth. He had not seen his baby for almost a year. And eventually, when the matter came up in court, he decided to plead guilty, thinking he had spent enough time in detention and he would be released to go home. He was in for a shocker because he was sentenced to 24 years imprisonment. I'm pleased to let you know that an appeal has been heard in the last week of February, challenging this conviction. And the appeal court is a federal court, and they're duty bound to deliver a decision within the next 3 months. So hopefully that will be a test on how serious we are in Nigeria in upholding the constitution. You're also aware of the lady, Deborah Samuel Yakubu, who was lynched by our friends and classmates at the College of Education in Sokoto State. Nobody was tried. There were 2 arrests. Eventually, they were let go because the police did not prosecute diligently. And this is usually one of the problems which you have in northern Nigeria. People who are victims of blasphemy themselves don't get anybody to defend them, whereas the people who perpetrate the evil usually have tremendous support from the state or state actors. Eventually, our family had to be relocated to southern Nigeria in Port Harcourt, and the case has gone into limbo. There was a woman, a mother of 5, in Bauchi State in northeastern Nigeria. Her name is Rhoda Chatao. She complained about this on Facebook, that the perpetrators of murder have virtually walked away without anything being done to them. She was arrested. It was an attempt to gag her and stifle her. She was taken away from her family and spent months in the prison without being tried. Eventually, when there was a large outcry, she was quietly released.
Recording in progress.
Just before Christmas last year. A couple of weeks ago, we saw something like that again. A Fulani convert, his name is Evangelist Musa, who had converted to Christianity, was arrested on false charges, quietly detained by the police. There was a lot of outcry on Twitter, on Facebook, and eventually it was released quietly. So whenever these arrests go on, the authorities just expect you to keep quiet and everything just goes into abeyance. But once there's a fierce resistance online and they know that the whole world is watching them, eventually they just find a way of releasing you. You're not charged to court, and they just wish everything disappears. And this is what bullies do, you know. They until you confront them robustly, they tend to trample on you and behave as if you don't have any rights. Of course, you are aware of the case of Omar Farouk Bashir, a teenager who was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. He was sentenced without a lawyer. So we challenged it and were able to get him set free completely. And there is, of course, the renowned Kano singer, prisoner of conscience, Yahya Sharif Aminu, who was sentenced to death. We have had 2 appeals. Along the line, they tried to, the judges tried to say that Section 10 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was not important, where Section 10 says that the government, either the state or federal, must not adopt any religion. We submitted to the courts that the practice of Sharia in northern Nigeria in its present state is an adoption of religion, and we won. Right now, we're at the Supreme Court, hoping for a date quickly. Now that we have a full court, for the first time in our history, we have 21 judges sitting at the Supreme Court now. So we hope to get a date very soon. And we're challenging the constitutionality of the Sharia law as practiced in northern Nigeria. We're not saying that we cannot practice Islamic law in northern Nigeria. We are saying that Nigeria has international obligations, which we must respect. Therefore, we cannot have it in the laws of in northern Nigeria that says you must stone people to death, must flog people 20 lashes or 40 lashes if they commit an offense, or you must chop off people's limbs. So this is where we are right now. Thank you very much.